course, this man next to me is no stranger to Covered Bridge or Bluegrass. It works the other way around, sir. Sir, you have to... This guy. See, I've got a bigger cut up than me behind the camera. That's really strange. I'm going to have to get used to that for a second. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Covered Bridge Bluegrass Festival 2018. My name is Chef Kibby. Now, oftentimes I'm doing this by myself. Today I'm very fortunate and lucky to have beside me Mr. Bill Purk, who you might have heard already this morning, a very talented bluegrass artist. I want everybody to give him a very warm and welcome Covered Bridge Bluegrass Festival welcome. This morning we're going to be talking a little bit about apple butter. Are you a big apple fan?
Yes.
Great. If you've ever tried to make apple butter, you know it's a very long and complicated process and typically requires some pretty unique pieces of equipment. One of them being kind of a large copper kettle over an open flame, which I'm not knocking that by any means. Yes, that kind of motion right there. Okay, I'm going to be putting that to good use. All right, he's already got the motions down. Well, today I'm going to show you kind of an abbreviated way of making apple butter that's going to take a lot less time and may use a piece of equipment that you already have in your kitchen, if you have one already. And that piece of equipment is an Instant Pot, which is what I have right over here. So what we have in the Instant Pot are some apples, locally grown apples that have already been washed and then diced and cored, and then placed with just a little bit of water in the pressure cooker. Set it on the high pressure for approximately 10 minutes. That's right, just 10 minutes. Okay? And then once it's done, depressurizing, we're going to take that lid off. Oh, look at that. Magic of television right there, kids. Look at that. You can already see all the steam coming off. You can see those beautiful apples, a variety of several different local apples. I know, it smells great. Is it wafting your direction yet? Can you smell those apples? Absolutely amazing. All right, so what we're going to do, now the apples have already been cooked down. Notice I did leave the peels on. You can take the peels off, and my trusted assistant will show us how to peel apples in just a moment, because I've heard that he's an expert at it. But before we do that, we're going to start making the apple butter, okay? Now in order to do that, we're going to use this piece of equipment right here. Have you ever seen one of these?
I drilled a hole in the door once with something that looked a lot like that.
Yeah, you could probably drill a pretty nice size hole in the door with one of these. This is an immersion blender, also known as a wand blender. What's really nice about this type of blender is that you can, as the name would suggest, immerse it into whatever it is you're cooking. So, for example, in the Instant Pot, I can immerse it right here and just go to town on it. And it's just going to puree all those cooked apples and all the apple peels. But I didn't bring you all the way out here to the Covered Bridge to make apple sauce. We wanted to talk about apple butter. And that's where the Instant Pot really shines in something like this, is because not only does it have settings for pressure cooking, steaming, and things of that nature, it also has a saute setting. And so what we're going to do is we're going to switch off and switch on to the saute. And what that's going to do is just like a saute pan at home over an open flame, this can provide a dense source of heat underneath these apples. And the real difference between applesauce and apple butter is that caramelization that takes place with the extended amount of cooking over that high heat. Again, typically done in a copper kettle, but this morning being done right here before our very eyes in the same pot that we pressure cooked in. Now, caramelization does involve kind of a sweetness, and there is a good bit of sugar already in the apples in the pot, but we're going to go ahead and add a little bit of sweetness. I'm going to add this brown sugar in there. Now down here in front of me we have a number of different seasonings that you can choose to add to your apple butter. Why don't we see how good his sniffer is here? Or your eyes and your nose here. What do we have in this first one?
Cinnamon!
Hey, he's 1 for 1, everybody. And then what do we have here?
Nutmeg.
2 for 2, everybody. Give him a round of applause. Come on. Not everybody has a sniffer like his. It's something that oftentimes you'll find pierced into the side of a ham that you might roast in the oven.
Help me, somebody. Huh? Close!
Yes! This is probably another tricky one. I know after a while it gets really hard. And this one is allspice.
Oh, okay. Mustard.
No, not mustard. It's powdered ginger. I like a little bit of ginger with my apples. All right, let's go ahead and give that a good stir. We want to make sure that we're stirring all the way down to the bottom there. I tell you what, I am oftentimes frustrated at how many people I talk to here locally that feel like they have to go all the way past Columbus in order to go to a nice apple orchard when we have one almost in our backyard. Okay, Cherry Hawk Orchard is just off of Route 36. It is an absolutely beautiful orchard. First variety that we have is the Macintosh. Yes, there are tomatoes that are good for saucing, and believe it or not, there are also some apples that are better for saucing than others, based on their texture and their flavor. This one is the Brayburn variety of apple. Typically has more of a golden hue to it. In the middle we have the Jonah Free, which is this beautiful bright red. It's a little bit more of a smaller size apple, but it packs a good punch. So we have the Fuji, which is yellow, kind of a yellowish pink variety of apple. Again, medium to size. I think this is a little bit of a smaller variety of them. Firm, sweet and juicy. Again, really good for the fresh eating. And last but certainly not least, one of my favorite apples, the Gala apple. One of the most popular, if not the most popular apple in the market today. So golden red, smaller in size, at least this variety is. Soft and sweet and great for fresh eating. Are you a fresh eating apple guy?
Every one a day.
I have a couple of different tools here. A couple of different peeling implements. We have the straight peeler or this Y-shaped peeler. Now, which would be your method of choice here? Which peeler do you typically use?
I have one hanging in the kitchen, Chef. It's got a crank on it. Remember those?
Yes, I do. I tended to bring one in with me this morning. It kind of looks like a medieval torture device. Yeah, I see some heads shaking. You've seen that medieval torture device, the apple core peeler slicer. Yeah. Would you care to
I'll try.
demonstrate your technique here?
How am I doing so far?
You're doing great. You haven't cut off your thumb yet. You did a great job. Everybody give him a round of applause.
Thank you.
If I were to be peeling an apple, which again for this process you don't have to, I usually come toward the top of the apple and take the peeler like that, and then I'm actually turning it with my left hand and using the thumb of my right hand to kind of guide it. Once you get all the way around, you're kind of following the first peel that came off. And just kind of work that around in one even motion. And if I do it really well, sometimes you can get it off in just one big piece of core or a piece of peel. It's not necessary, but just to show off. Now, there's a lot of different ways of serving apple butter. Do you like apple butter at home?
On fried bologna.
I've heard a lot of things in my day, okay? But I have never heard of putting apple butter on fried bologna. Now, do you put it on that? You fry the bologna by itself and then put the apple butter on afterwards?
Yes.
Just as a condiment? All right, kids, you heard it here first. Okay, I do like it on toast, or especially an English muffin is really nice. Use it as a substitute or in combination with a syrup over pancakes or waffles or even French toast is really, really good.
Yep.
I was actually just talking to somebody a little while ago, and this is something I like to do as well. Apple butter in barbecue sauce. Oh yeah, because barbecue a lot of times we associate with pork products. And pork chops and applesauce, baby. Pork and apples, they play really, really nicely together. Mix in some of that apple butter into your yogurt. Kind of that fruit in the bottom, you know, you can make it yourself though. And then ice cream topping. I mean, get yourself some nice vanilla ice cream, warm up the apple butter a little bit, or after you've just made it, pour it over some ice cream. Absolutely delicious. All right. Now, another way that I like to have apple butter is as an appetizer with cheese and crackers. And just like we talked about the local artisanal apples, we also have some local artisanal cheese. So Heritage Lane Dairy, they have all Jersey cows, and their farm is located just north of Marysville on Route 31. You can find them at the Union County Farmers Market, which takes place every Saturday morning from 8:30 to 11:30. This is a variety called Odenwald, which is their Swiss-style variety, which I like along with apples. They also make a really nice Gouda, which Gouda and apples pair really, really nicely together. Still got some of that sniffer there. You like cheese?
Oh, Lord, yes.
Isn't that amazing? So we're going to have some of that with this apple butter that is working away at this pot. Beautiful. There we go. Look at that bubbling cauldron there. And the color change that's taken place just in the short while that this has been cooking here is absolutely amazing. Now, depending on the finished texture that you want from the apple butter, you can let it go for 15-20 minutes. You can go with half an hour. You can go to an hour. even. Again, just depending on your personal preference of how much the texture and flavor that you want out of your apple butter. Tell these fine folks at home a little bit more about you.
We played in 7 different states.
Wow.
And done a number of recordings and just really enjoy playing. The guy that's on stage now, Daniel Dye, we work his festival every year.
Oh, terrific. It was a pleasure listening to you play this morning. I would like him to come back and do this again sometime. I think he did a great job. You guys think he did a great job today? Let's give Bill a round of applause here.
Thank you.
Bill Purk, thank you so much. And let's eat.
All right.